BlackRock has reapplied for their Bitcoin Spot ETF after the SEC said that the Bitcoin Spot ETF filings were inadequate. Welcome back to the Block Hash podcast channel. Let's talk crypto. Make sure to check out our sponsors, PIKA Crypto and BENFT. PIKA is revolutionizing the intersection between blockchain and gaming with their new trading card game, Elders of Kai. Check it out. Links in the description. BENFT is revolutionizing education, and they're doing that through DeFi methods and artificial intelligence. You can also check them out in the description of the episode below. All right, so let's see what's going on. BlackRock, the world's largest asset management company, has reapplied, issuing its Bitcoin Spot ETF application after the SEC's warning. Nasdaq has again submitted a bid to launch a Bitcoin Spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund ETF in partnership with the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, the two and two together, and leading U.S. cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase. Well, it's kind of funny. It's funny the SEC is going after Coinbase, and at the same time, BlackRock and the Nasdaq are tapping Coinbase for the exchange that they want to reference in their spot ETF. The SEC's got to be like losing their mind right now. So if this is approved, the ETF would be the first of its kind in the United States, where regulators have so far rejected or delayed dozens of Bitcoin ETF applications, citing concerns about market manipulation. And that's something I don't get to. They'll approve a leveraged Bitcoin ETF, but not a spot ETF. Talk about market manipulation. Investor protection, custody issues, et cetera, all the shit out their ass. The SEC has approved only 2 Bitcoin futures ETFs that track the price of Bitcoin contracts traded on regulated exchanges. Now, the SEC recently reported that ETF filings were insufficient, according to Wall Street Journal sources, and the lack of the name of the intermediary cryptocurrency exchange was cited as a reason for the inadequacy of the applications, hence why BlackRock decided to note Coinbase is the intermediary for these ETFs. All right. So yeah, that's the news I want to share. I kind of like the little Bitcoin logo replacing the B right there on BlackRock. It's kind of nifty. But yeah, all these institutions, they are fully gung-ho on getting this ball into the end zone and scoring a spot ETF for Bitcoin. The SEC is probably going to keep trying to push back on this, but I think they know the opportunities here, and there's no reason the SEC can deny it. And you know that they're ambitious about doing this when the SEC sends it back, and then like the very next day, these institutions refile. Like, they're on top of it. Like, this is something they want, and I'm telling you, they're going to get it. BlackRock is going to get its ETF. Maybe Fidelity will. Maybe any of the others that have been applying. Like, there's a lot at this point. It's going to come soon. And when that time happens, it's already moving the market, but when that Bitcoin Spot ETF happens, it's going to drive a lot of cash flow into those ETFs. And that itself will also move Bitcoin. It's not going to necessarily allow for any kind of manipulation of Bitcoin, which I think is what people are worried about. But it'll give them the exposure that they want on paper and the liquidity if they want to sell it for some reason without having to custody it directly. It's a much faster way for them to deploy cash. If you think about it, if an asset manager has, let's say $1 billion liquid cash sitting in a bank account, probably way more than that, but let's say just $1 billion, for example, they can't just send it to Coinbase and buy Bitcoin. Like, it's not that easy. The way MicroStrategy does it is very particular. A lot of these institutions have not gone down that route to really understand crypto and Bitcoin as much to be able to custody that correctly. And I don't think they trust exchanges. They would rather just trade through an ETF and let the ETF hold the risk. So either way, it's going to be very good for Bitcoin. It already is good for Bitcoin. It's moving the price quite a bit. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. I've been tracking a lot of things. But look, guys, this is on the 30-minute. I'm going to back out to the daily just for reference. Hold on. So down here, the beginning of June, all of this was the SEC crap. All right, we hit off our inflection zone, and ever since BlackRock announced their Bitcoin ETF was going to be filed, Bitcoin just started jumping like crazy, like big jumps, like hundreds of dollars. Got to 30,000, and then just recently with them refiling, it's popped above 31,000, and it's at 30,009. I'll still call that 31,000 more or less, but if it can hold that, things are looking really good. Like Bitcoin is primed for a really big jump here relatively soon, and altcoins are following pretty well with this. Ethereum has been following pretty well with this news, trying to get back up. Stellar Lumens I've been watching really carefully, has been doing pretty solid, holding ground here, trying to get up. HBAR's had a little bit of a move, but it stalled out. XRP is probably the one that's most interesting. Hasn't moved, but is in a really tight, narrow range here. Like, look at this like flag. It's like a double flag almost. A flag within a flag, just looking to jump. There's a lot of good things on the horizon. In the near term, if you just look at the beginning of the year, like this step up pattern by Bitcoin, like if all goes according to plan, Bitcoin should step up a little bit higher, closer to that $35,000 mark, maybe higher than that. Who knows? There's a big liquidity gap to fill if it can bust through this 31,000 plus resistance. It could go as high as 48,000. There's nothing here. So I think July is going to be a very exciting month, and we're going to see a lot of cool things happen. But just be patient. There will be pullbacks. There will be setbacks. There will be days where we go sideways and we're quiet and we're not destined to make noise, but we're getting there. So anyways, comment your thoughts down below. Like the video. I do want to know what you guys think, so definitely comment. We'll chit-chat about it. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you so much. You guys are the absolute best. Talk to you tomorrow. Cheers.